hay diferentes métricas como la intersección de la unión y el error medio que normalmente observamos.
So in this video here, we're going to see how we can do AI video translation. We're going to take an input video in English language. We're just going to take some of my YouTube videos, pass it through this Rask AI tool. Then it's basically just going to translate the whole video. You'll get the transcript and it can then go in and translate it to over 130 languages.
Starting today, all Rask AI users have access to the new feature. Ab heute haben alle Rask AI-Nutzer Zugang zu dieser neuen Funktion.
We're going to go through the whole pipeline. We're going to see how we can use the API, all the tools that you can use from the platform as well. We basically just have a bunch of different APIs. We have get, post, all of that to create projects, create transcriptions. We can even go in and add it. We can add glossaries and so on as well. And at the end, after we translate our video, we can also do lip sync. So first of all here, let's just jump straight into the platform. I'm going to walk you through these different steps, how we can basically just translate a video, and then we're going to see how we can do it in code with the API and so on as well, because every single thing that you can do inside the website, you can also do it through the API. I've already uploaded a video here. You can just get a video or audio in any language. You click here, you can upload a YouTube video, Google Drive video, or Vimeo with link. Throw it in here. You can specify the video name. Right now, let's just go into YouTube, grab one of my videos. And then you'll just copy paste the link. Let's go to my channel, videos. And let's grab this one. Going to copy paste the URL. Then we can just paste it in directly here. It's going to upload it. It will extract the video and so on. So let's just call it test 2. Now we can auto detect the number of speakers. So if there's multiple speakers in the video, it can also detect that. The original language we will also detect, and here we can see all the different languages, over 130 languages it can translate your video into. So this is pretty cool. So right now let's just go up here and let's just choose Spanish. There we go. We can upload an SRT as well, or add a dictionary. So it could be that you have specific words that you want to have translated in a specific way. If you're talking about like company info, if you're mentioning names, company brands, basically just company names and so on as well, you can add a dictionary and it's just going to basically just use that translation, because if you're doing AI translation and so on, it might translate it into a wrong word, where if you're just like having names for your company and so on, it might translate it into something completely different in another language. So right now, we've just uploaded a video, we can hit translate, it's going to do the processing and you can see the results afterwards. So I've already done this. We can go and take a look at it. You can also do voice cloning and add the dictionary as well. But inside the translation, I have this video already uploaded. It's processed. It will just take 5-10 minutes or something like that. Right now, if you go inside of it, we can see the translated. We have the original translated, and you also have lip synced. So before you generate a translated video, you can go through the transcript here as well. And remember, we can do all these things here in the exact same way through their API, as I'm going to show you some examples of. And you can always go in and change these different translations, and we also have these different segments with the intervals and also the speaker. So right now we can just take a look at the results for the translated video.
En este video exploraremos la evaluación de modelos y el ajuste fino. Si tienes un conjunto de datos, querrás aplicarlo a un caso de visión por computadora. Vamos a entrar. Usamos nuestro conjunto de datos para entrenar.
So one of the other cool features, now we can see that we have a really good translation of our video, but the lips are not really following the words because again, I'm speaking in English. If we want to translate it into 130 languages, we need to have lip sync as well. They also have that feature, so we can go inside our lip sync. You can either do like a 1-minute sample just to see how it looks, or basically just do lip sync. So right now we can just play the lip synced version and let's take a look at it, and it's significantly better.
Evaluación de modelos y el ajuste fino. Si tienes un conjunto de datos, querrás aplicarlo a un caso de visión por computadora. Vamos a entrar. Usamos nuestro conjunto de datos para entrenar un modelo. Después discutiremos cómo.
So these are pretty crazy results that we're able to get from this AI model from Rask AI. We have the timeline down here at the bottom. You can make changes to all of it. You can do the exact same thing through the API. But in just a few clicks, you can have these videos translated into more than 130 languages in pretty much just a few clicks. So now, right now, let's jump into the API. We can go in and take a look at, they have the documentation, and we will go through. They even have some cool features where you can go in and actually test out the APIs, the endpoints and so on before you use them in your own projects. So first of all here, this is the documentation that we jumped into it. pretty easy to go through. They have a couple of examples, the source languages, the destination languages. Here you can see pretty much all of them, both the full list and so on. So we can also have like the different areas. So Arabic, tons of different versions of Arabic, and it's going to translate it into that specific language, the destination language that you're going to choose. If you take a look at it here in the middle, we have all these different APIs, and what an API is basically just that we have a request. So it could be like a get, post, or whatever, depending on what we want to achieve with our API. So we send a request to Rask AI for the different methods here or the different endpoints, and then we just get a response back. So the endpoint and the API is basically just going to do all the processing. We send a request, we get a response back from the API. Could be we get the transcription, could be that we get our project list, the project ID and so on, or if we do some checks, lip sync and so on, that is basically just the response that we get back again. So if you want to use this in your own projects and applications, you can set up all the APIs, you can extract all the results. It's just JSON files that we're playing around with, and we can also see all the different code snippets. You can use curl, you can use Python, JavaScript, all these programming languages. They even have sample code that you can just copy paste into your own code base. Then you can extract all the results, use them in your own applications and projects. We basically just set up a whole pipeline and system with these individual endpoints. So first of all, it could be that we want to upload a media either by a file or a link. We can do that through the API as well. We can create a new project, we will get that ID, then we can use that ID to go in and create like a transcription. We can add segments if you only want to do transcription in a specific area or just want to extract a specific area of a video, show it in an application and project, and so on. So we also talked about the glossary, which is a very awesome feature as well, because when we're doing video translation, when we just have an AI model translating our videos, we want to be able to get good results. If you're just speaking in English, like it might skip a lot of words, it might have some errors, especially with branding names. If you use it for like company stuff, even just by your own, like we don't want it to translate names or like try to translate random stuff, which is actually like just maybe that's just like how it is pronounced or a specific term and so on that we're using. Could also be that we're working to do it machine learning AI and so on. If we just use like backpropagation, we probably don't want to, or mention backpropagation, whatever, like could be a CNN, ANN, like a convolutional neural network. We might not need to translate that into the destination language. So right now, let's basically just see how these APIs work. So right now, let's just jump straight down to it. First of all, we can either upload a media link. So right now, we can see we have all these code snippets that we get, upload media by file, but we can also upload it by link. So this is the exact same thing we did inside the UI. So right now here, we can see we have authorization. You need to have your bearer token. Either you can find that with Postman. So they have a guide in here for Postman, or you can use the Python script. So if we go up into the authentication, there we go. We can see we have the Postman option. You can basically just extract it directly in there. You need to get your client ID and also your secret ID that you will get from in here. So you can basically just go inside your profile and API up here and you will get all the IDs. Another example is that we can use this Python code example. I'll just pull up my code editor and then we can see I have the code up and running. There we go. So just open up my code editor here and then we can see that I have this up and running. I just have a Python script called get_token. I've just stored my credential in here in another Python file to just retrieve my client ID and also the API code. And then it's just going to either print a bearer token. You can get it to do that. You can also print how much you have left and so on. So all that information can be extracted from here. You basically just connect to this client on the API. So if you run this Python script, everything will be available inside the documentation, but I'll also put it on my GitHub for all of these different APIs that we're going to set up. Then we can set up an upload. It's basically just go to the website here. Then we go inside upload by link. We have the body. Here we can throw in the link. So that will just be our YouTube link as well. There we go. We can enter it here. We can set the kind, name, and so on. If you want to add a specific name, the authorization, you just need to paste in your bearer token. And once we do that, it is going to automatically update it over here to the right. We can use a curl request, Python, JavaScript, PHP, Go, Java, and also we will get an example response for our different outputs. So if we get a success response back from our API when we send a request. So again, remember, we send a request to our API, we get a response back. If we get response back 200, again, it succeeded, and we will extract all our information. So that could be project ID, video ID, and so on, that we can use for the other APIs. We can also see some error handling here. So it could be that the media type is not acceptable. Another one here, but again, if you get into any errors and so on, it might be because it's not supported. It has really good error messages. So we can test the API here up at the top, just press send here, and we get a 200 back, which is okay. We get the body as well. So right now, if we scroll a bit further down, we get our ID, get our user ID, name, pretty much just all the information that we need, and also the source. If we don't go back into our tab again, we'll basically just have the video. It will start the transcription and all that, but we can also go over and do the transcription to the left. So this is how easy it is to work with the APIs from Rask API. And again, we can also go up and take the Python example here. We will just copy it. We can open up our code editor, take the code snippet, and basically just create one in here. So it could be file upload. I'm just going to create a new one, or link upload .py. There we go. We paste it in, and this is basically just it. We'll get our payload, we have our headers, and then we have a response. We send a request. This is a post request. We have the URL, we have the payload, and also the headers, and then we'll get a response back with our text. So let's just open a terminal here. Let's save a program. We have a Rask, so we call Python link upload. There we go. We run the application, and we print the response back. There we go. We can see we actually just get the exact same thing back. We get 200, get the ID, user ID, and so on, and it's the exact same thing as we get in here. So now we know how we can actually play around with the APIs. Really easy to test out. You can basically just plop it in here, just copy paste, throw it in here, copy paste it into your code snippets, into your editor, and then you can use it in your own applications and projects. If you want to get your project list, you can go and create new projects and so on as well. I'm just going to go through a few examples, and also how you can do the transcription in here, and also have the glossary, lip sync, and all of that, which is all the features which are covered. So right now, just created a bunch of different projects and so on. We can also go in and take a look at the project list. So right now we just have our authorization. It's going to save that when you go from each API. We have our integer offset. So just want to get pretty much just 5 projects that I have in my account. So we're going to send the response, or send the request, we get 200 back. Okay, we can see we have a total of 3 projects. We can see the name of the video, how to build a strong machine learning AI portfolio. We get the ID. We can take this ID for a project, and then we can either, like, for example, go in and get the project voices, generate a project. We can get a project specifically. We can also get a transcription and all of that. So now we can see for this one here, the translation is already done. It's from YouTube, status date, create date, and so on. You can get these responses back. You can extract all of it from the JSON files and basically just implement it directly into your application and project. So this is pretty much everything that we need. We can just scroll through it here. We just have a list of dictionaries with each individual project. So just try to grab one of them. So merging is done here, voiceover done, and then the first one here. So just try to grab one of the projects here. We'll just grab the ID. There we go. Now we can go in and also create this create transcription. They also have a workflow where they show like guides how to do it. So for the translation, upload your file, create transcription, create project, and then you can check status and also download the translated files. When you're done that, we can actually just check the status of your project, and then you can download any artifacts from the links provided in the response. So that could be like get project. There we go. We have the path, we have the project ID. I've just copied it from the other response. So this is how easy it is to work with. Again, we don't really need any other tools. We can just use the website directly. Once it works, copy paste the code snippets. Doesn't matter what programming language you're using. Just take it and throw it into your applications and projects. So here we can basically just see we get the cover, we get the source URL, and we also get our original video, translated video, and also translated audio. So if you just want to get that, we can basically just grab this link, and you can do the exact same thing in code as I'm doing with the mouse. You can extract it inside the code. Just paste it in here. We get our video.
En
and
este
it's ready to
video
download.
exploraremos la evaluación de modelos y el...
So directly from code, you can do the exact same thing. It's just a download from a URL. So this is how easy it is to work with. We can also create a transcription here. So to say that we have different segments that we want to test out. We have our authorization, we have our text string, and down here at the bottom, we can also specify the start and the end. So right now we don't want to have anything for our source. And here again, text could just be test, the language, Espanol to Espanol. Speaker is going to detect that automatically. We need to specify the correct format, so that's hours. And we have minutes, we have seconds, and we also have milliseconds. There we go. And we're going to specify the exact same thing here for the end string. But right now, let's just take 1 minute. There we go. Now we pretty much have all needed. We can go up and run it and create a transcription. There we go. Now we can see we get our segments back. So we get our start time, end time, we get the ID and so on. And then we can have multiple different segments as we saw inside the here. So this is basically just all the different segments that we have for individual speakers. Again, this works for multiple speakers as well. We can add segments, we can get transcription. So if we just go inside that, we have our project ID. I don't have that copied right now, but let's just go inside get project, project list, curate again. This is how easy it is to work with. Like we can just basically just throw it back and forth. Let's just grab another ID now. We can get the transcription path. There we go. We send a response, we get it back, and now we basically just get all the transcribed text. We can play around with it, use it in our own application and project, download the videos, you can download the audio and so on. So this is very easy. We can do the exact same thing. Let's just try to grab this in Python. There we go. Let's jump into Windsurf, which is the code editor that I'm using for now. So right now, get transcript dot py. You paste it in here, and we can just run it. Python get transcript. There we go. Now we basically just get the whole video here transcribed for the first minute. There we go. So we can also go in and update the glossary, delete glossary and so on. Down at the bottom, after we've done the video translation, you saw the examples in the start of the video. So this is pretty awesome. But once we have our video up and running, we're translating into another language. The lips are not really synced. It makes a huge difference. And when you see the lip sync here, when you see the results, it's just crazy. It's so natural with the lips and so on. Like there's a bit with the T's and so on, but you don't really recognize that. It's just cool that we can translate it into so many different languages. So first of all, we need to run a face check. We need to make sure that we actually have a face inside our image or in the video that we want to do lip sync on. And then after that, we can run the lip sync. So that will be a put request. We have a path, a project ID, and then also the object. So if we have multiple speakers, is free lip sync and so on, you don't need to specify that. But again, we have our object. So is the multiple speakers false? And then we just said is free lip sync true? And then we can specify the project ID, run the API, and then it will actually do the lip sync. And then you can download the video in the exact same way as before with our get. So we have our project ID, and then you'll just get the response back. You can also check out the documentation here, what it actually requires in the response, in the different parameters and so on, what type of parameter do we actually need to throw into the API. So while the APIs are processing, you can also check the phase task status. When it's actually returning done, you can also go in and extract the results path, use it in your projects and applications. So you can track it, how long it takes, what is the status of the different APIs. You can use the results directly. It's very simple JSON responses that you get back. Use them in applications and projects. Doesn't matter what programming language you're using. So let's just try to actually pull up one example where we can see the results.
En este video exploraremos la evaluación de modelos y el ajuste fino. Si tienes un conjunto de datos, querrás aplicarlo a un caso de visión por computadora. Vamos a entrar. Usamos nuestro conjunto de datos para entrenar un modelo. Después discutiremos cómo evaluar ese modelo, ya que debemos asegurarnos de tener el mejor antes de lanzarlo a producción. Tenemos un par de pasos que podemos seguir. Necesitamos ajustar algunos parámetros y probar diferentes variaciones de nuestro modelo.
I've probably never laughed so much before when creating a video because it's just so fun to see yourself like speaking another language. It is very natural. Like even the pronunciation, the accent, all of that is very good. Like it's pretty much just my voice If I were to learn like Spanish or pretty much all the other languages, it supports over 130 languages. So that's pretty cool. Has the accent, it has lip sync and so on. So definitely go in and check it out. I'm not seeing anyone out there do it in this way here and also at this level of quality. I can basically just take my YouTube videos, convert it into different languages, even my courses and so on as well. So it's really easy to get started with. Definitely go and check it out. You can also just use the UI. In a few clicks, you have all of this up and running. But if you're creating like projects, applications, and so on, you can use a few APIs and you have the exact same results integrated into your own system. So I hope you learned a ton this video here. Definitely go and check it out. I'm going to use it way more in the future. I've laughed so much by creating this video here, just hearing myself speaking Spanish. It sounds pretty crisp. It looks very crisp as well, at least for the lip sync and also the audio. I hope to see you guys in one of the upcoming videos. Until then, happy translating.